to create a space to help you make your way through the world.
I think when you gotta stop living up here, start living down here.
The way to do that is
safe space
for
depravity.
Boom, boom. Welcome back to Safe Space for Depravity podcast. I am DJ Goopity Goop, aka Wellington Boyce, and right here beside my side is my partner in crime,
DJ Robin Hood,
aka
the Goodwill God,
aka
Quinn. How's it going?
Where did DJ Robin Hood come from?
Dude, I don't know. I was gonna try and
Spit some bars.
Yeah, I was trying to give it some bars, but I couldn't think of any. So you guys get DJ Robin Hood. I'll come back next week and figure out what it stands for.
I don't want to give any explanation on DJ Goopity Goop.
Good.
Anyways, how's it going?
That's funny. It's good. I want to start off by talking about that video that I sent you last night. The 3 cheese blend.
By far the most upsetting video. Because, oh man, yeah, go.
So I'm browsing on the internet last night, and I find for any Rick and Morty fans, there's a subreddit called Interdimensional Cable, and Interdimensional Cable on Rick and Morty is like essentially like 1 minute shorts of like ideas of like weird shit, like Ants in My Eyes Johnson, or like the fake door salesman.
Two brothers.
Yeah.
and they're brothers.
Yeah. So this fucking subreddit is committed to videos that aren't made to be like that, but are like that. And so I find a video of an How article talking about how to make a 3 cheese blend for pizza. And it's this guy in like this super well done professional setup for a film shoot. And he's got 3 bowls of cheese in front of him. And he's like, now the first one is mozzarella. The second one, shredded provolone. Third one, Parmesan cheese, and runs his hand through all of them as he's going through the explanation. And then he takes all 3 bowls and pours them into one big bowl. And he goes, and that's how you make a 3 cheese blend for your pizza. And that's the end of the video. That's the entire minute of the video.
It's not even a minute. It was 52 seconds. And it's just like, this is a waste of production time, filming and editing, and also just the getup. You're in a full-on chef costume.
Yep.
Full-on shit, like apron, hat, and all. And it's not even like the white one. It's like a nice looking, like, oh, this guy is probably an Iron Chef. And he just puts 3 cheeses in a bowl and says, that's it.
Yeah, accurate.
Great take.
That was.
Let's run that back. Let's do it another time.
That was the entirety
Separate the
of.
cheeses.
Yeah.
Separate the cheeses and put in different bowls.
He just got done. He's like, one take, Jake.
He got done. They're like, all right, that's a wrap.
So I sent I didn't send you this video, but there was another video that I found, and it was about this guy who's like 500 pounds, and this one was like 3 minutes long. And he's like, yeah, my doctor like says I need to lose weight, and or else like I'm not going to be able to make it. And so my wife was like, hey, I want to grow old with you. I don't want to have to bury you. And this guy's like, okay, so like I need to like get on my grind. So I started eating right and I started exercising more. And then the camera cuts and he's like, now I can proudly admit that I'm 250-pound men and I've never been happier in my life. And it's just 2 new people sitting there. And he's like, I think that this was the best version of myself all along. And then the other one's like agreeing with him. And he's like, now I'm 250-pound men and I've never been happier.
Yo, I need this Reddit form because this is fucking stupid.
It was so good. I mean, it was
Because
literally
it's
it was
real, right? It's not a joke. It's like people filming these things for real.
like this one was definitely a sketch, but like it was still so perfect because it was filmed like a TLC special. And it was just like, I need to figure out like how to get my life together. And then all of a sudden it was just like, now I'm 250-pound men.
250-pound men. Jeez, that's like that bit in Rick and Morty, or that whole episode of like the internet, or what is it, intergalactic cable?
Interdimensional cable.
It's just a fever dream, one after the other, and it's just a belly laugh of constant just what.
Have you
Because-
watched any of the new season?
No, I haven't watched season 5. I just finished up season 4 like 2 weeks ago. But like that episode, that's what I think really drew me in, because I'm just like, you can hear it's not Dan Harmon, but the dude who does the
Yeah.
voices for everybody pretty much, him breaking character when he's explaining some of this stuff, because it's just like two brothers and they fight crime, and but then one day the world changed and the aliens came down and they shop tomatoes. And he's just like,
Yeah.
it's like tomatoes.
Yeah, he's just dying. Nah, I was talking about it with somebody else, and in the first episode of Rick and Morty comes on so good, and I was like, oh man, like
Of this new season.
yeah, and I really like, I want to believe that like they're gonna lose some progress at some point, but like, I mean, Rick and Morty being the fever dream that it is, man, they're still going so strong on the back of these ideas that are just so ridiculous.
Like season 4, I noticed like it was kind of, I guess that happened in between the pandemic and stuff.
Mhm.
And so halfway through, I think it's like episode 4 or 5, where I guess they had that hiatus and they came back. You start noticing like it just kind of, it didn't seem rushed, but it seemed like we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And it was just no holds bars, and just you hear some meta stuff. And I was like, wow, this is genius. But I don't know. That show is just, it's not underrated, but it's highly rated for what it is. And people that don't watch Rick and Morty, you're missing out. If you don't like cartoons.
you're just not intellectually smart enough to understand Rick and Morty.
I hate people that are like that. It's a fucking cartoon, and yes, it's very witty and like clever, but it doesn't put you up there where, oh, just because it's talking about time travels and different dimensions and like space, and it's a fucking cartoon. Calm the fuck down. It's a knockoff of
Yeah.
Back to the Future, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't say knockoff. It's a parody of Back to the Future, and that
Yeah,
whole dynamic.
Yeah, and I think like it's one of those things that is so good because it sticks out against like the Family Guy, like Simpsons style of like, I don't know, getting into a joke. Like obviously the Family Guy situation is like known for cutaways.
Yeah.
But like this is just pure like, and watching it uncensored is such a great experience. If you
Yes.
haven't, like if anybody hasn't and they want to like go watch some of their stuff, go find like the uncensored versions, because it fits so much better with what's going on.
Like the censorship is funny. Like sometimes when you hear like the beep in some
Yeah.
shows, it's funny and like used properly. But uncensored Rick and Morty it just gets so, I'm like, oh fuck. Like
Oh,
I didn't yeah, he just like fucking take your shit, Morty. I'm like, oh
Take your
it's
shit,
so
Morty.
heavy.
Take all of it. Summer, get your shit together. Put it all together. Put all your shit together. Put
Shit
it in
together.
a bag.
just get it together.
Yeah. No, and honestly, like it's so cool just to see like, oh yeah, we're doing whatever the fuck we want, and people are just like, yeah, fuck it, like run with
Yeah.
it, do
Keep
what you
going.
want to do.
Give us more.
And I wish that I'd watched this so I could comment on it, but obviously it just came out like today, so I don't have anything to put on it. But Space Jam 2, is out now.
Yeah, I saw that.
In
I saw
theaters.
that it was out.
Non-spons.
I'm gonna watch it at home on HBO Max because
Yeah.
I don't care to go to movie theaters anymore. Sorry, unpopular opinion.
Yeah,
But
definitely an unpopular
I just
opinion.
like we just bought Black Widow. I ended up caving and getting it, and you know what? Not $30 worth.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, finished it yesterday.
All right, so I want you. Actually, no. Let me.
To explain,
I'm gonna go
bit.
first. No, I'm gonna go first. And spoilers, just spoilers. If you haven't seen it, sorry.
If you haven't seen Black Widow, skip however long this is. I'm gonna say probably 2 minutes. So skip 2 minutes ahead, and yeah, go.
Actually, when we're done talking about it, if you're looking at this on YouTube, I'll wave my hands in the air. If you're looking for it on audio,
I wish I had like a spoiler sign, just like to hold up and then take it down.
all right. Regardless, so as a non-MCU fan who went and saw Black Widow, like my only thing was like I want to see Florence Pugh in an action movie. That was my only thing.
Yep.
So I don't get any of the references. I don't know who's been there, who hasn't, outside of like I know Black Widow's been around. So I watched the entire like origin side of things, and I was like, all right, like cool. Like there's two sisters, and I was like, okay, I've seen this. I've seen this
they're
before.
spies.
yeah. I was like, I've seen this one before. So then anyway, like the Florence Pugh character is like interesting to me because I'm like, oh, like she's like a chemical spy. Okay, interesting. And then she gets released. Now, like, what is she gonna do? And so, like, everything leading up to that, I'm like, all right, like, I get that like she has no purpose, and now she's like back with her sister, who's like not really her sister, and like it just like quickly moved into like you want to like be a family again, and you're like, you guys have had years apart where you didn't know each other. Like you had like 3, maybe 2 good years, 2 or 3 good years, and like that's the extent of your guys' relationship. And then Scarlett Johansson's like, but I'm an Avenger. Like, you want to go do Avenger stuff with me? And she's like, I knew you were gonna ask that. And then Scarlett Johansson's like, well, could be fun. And then Florence Pugh's like, okay, I'm down. And I'm like, why would you? Okay, cool. Like, I guess we're getting back into this now. And then they go through the whole rest of the fucking movie, and I'm just like, okay, like, neat. Like, you did it. Congratulations. Like, it's all over now. Yeah, like,
Yay.
I was just, yeah. And, like, the only, like, definitely, like, shoehorn the fuck out of, like, the weird familial thing. And I love David Harbour in that role, but I don't really know what's going on or why I should give a fuck. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Like it's kind of funny that he looks like an idiot, but this probably doesn't make sense. And the only other thing that I found really fucking funny was the dialogue about the vest. I thought that was, whatever reason, that caught me really off guard when Florence was talking about how much she loved her vest. So
Yeah.
that's my review on the movie. It had a couple good jokes. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, and I don't think that I can't imagine that people were like, oh my God, like she has a personality and like look at how soft she is. It's like, why not just leave her like the faceless killer? I feel like that's way more in her wheelhouse. You can't like the Joker movies that do the origin make sense because it's like, how does anyone get this way? But like, I don't know if anybody was asking like, why is Black Widow such a bad bitch? Like, tell me why she's so crazy. Like, tell me why she's so bad and tough and strong and like a female lead. Like, I need to know what that's all about. Versus like the Joker doesn't make any sense. Maybe we should take a stab at trying to figure out what's going on there. And like, I don't know. It was just like I don't know if this needed to be explained. Why? Like, just keep her weird.
It was so, from my knowledge, like Red Guardian is, as you probably picked up, is the Russian Captain America, super soldier serum and all that, the whole bout and all that. And that's pretty much the only thing that was interesting aside from Taskmaster, because that's one of like the most like relentless villains in the MCU, or not MCU, but like in the comics. But other than that, everything else I was kind of just like, I don't know enough information on Black Widow comic wise because I didn't read Avengers shit. I was more of an X-Men individual. So my knowledge on Black Widow is like, eh. So coming into the movie, I was kind of like, eh. And at the end of the movie, I was like, mm. So it didn't do anything for me. And I would say Captain Marvel did more for me than this movie because this movie was delayed so long for nothing. It could have just been one of those things that Disney was just like, all right, let's just put it out there and get it over with so we can move on with phase stuff. The shows that are coming out right now, like Loki, that I was more excited at the end of Loki, the TV show, than the end of Black Widow. Where
And those are all in the universe, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not that I give a fuck, but just out of curiosity.
And spoiler alert for Loki, it kind of tells you more that there's more than one universe now, and that multiple timelines have branched off because shit's about to get real with the multiverse. And you got Marvel or Disney MCU is trying to stem everybody over, like Spider-Man, Venom, X-Men, and all that, like trying to bring it into the MCU. And so with this multiverse, this is like, you have to have this chaos in order to get your X-Men, your Fantastic Fours, and all that, because everybody's been fighting for these rights for like Disney and Sony and Fox and all that. Like, it's just been an like uphill battle. And now it's slowly developing into, oh, hey, we're all coming together. We're actually going to be like the comic books where we have different Earths and different realms and shit like that. And Loki pretty much just kind of nailed it on the head. And also with WandaVision, where Wanda's like going through inner like the dimensions and stuff like that of like her Scarlet Witch shit. Like pretty much how Doctor Strange. I don't want to get too deep into it because but essentially, like, Black Widow was just a very bleh movie. Like, it didn't need to happen, but I see why it happened, and it also gives some like depth of. I don't know if you saw the post-credit scenes.
I did, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it also gives.
I was with Ryan. You think I'm getting out of post-credit scenes?
Yeah. Okay. Smart. Great person. Great guy to be with. But yeah. So it's kind of gonna give like the only thing that really got me like, oh shit, in Black Widow was that post-credit scene where it's like, come on, man. So now Yelena is gonna try and kill Cliff or Hawkeye and whatever because she's got a contract. Because that's the reason why her sister is dead. But really, her sister died because she chose to. And she also just sucked and needed to go.
Yeah.
So, but
let's, wait, hold on. Let me hit this real quick. That was for
spoilers are done.
Yeah, spoilers are done. Now for a new set of spoilers. Where are you at in The Wire?
The Wire, I am currently episode 4 or 5 of season 3.
Okay, so, and this is the political season, right?
It seems like it. It seems like it's getting very political. With
like they're talking about the councilman a lot.
Yeah, Littlefinger is like, I'm gonna run for mayor. Well, he doesn't sound like that. He sounds like a Boston, or not Boston, whatever.
Baltimore
person. I'm gonna run for mayor.
So one thing I wanted to talk about was like how, since you've seen the second season, like how weird is that whole situation
with the second season?
Bro, like, yeah, hey, we got 13 sex traffic workers.
Oh yeah,
in
14
in a tube. Yeah, in a tube.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that shit kind of happened. Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah. But, so, what do you mean? How weird? Like, they have to figure out the John Doe or the Jane Does and stuff.
I mean, obviously, you come back and it's hilarious as shit that McNulty's riding the boat and you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck are you doing? And then
I gotta
and
get off
then
the
you
boat. Get me
you
off
get
the
a
boat,
random
punk.
you get a random Holly sighting like throughout the
Yes,
entire
yeah.
season. You're like, yo,
And
what the fuck are you
McNulty's gonna
doing?
fuck Holly. Like what?
Like, why are
Hey,
you out
Michael
here being a
Scott.
police? Yeah, why are you
Michael
out?
Michael Scott, come get your girl. She out here
I
about to
know.
fuck McNulty.
Dude, and I just love that they're like, yeah, no, we leave her alone. She's good people, and it's just like, you are such a fucking idiot. Like
Yeah.
And I loved how they were just like, why the fuck did you become a policeman? She's like, I needed to pay some bills. Like, I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing, but like, I'm down to like hang out with you guys if you want to like teach me some shit.
And
I'm
then
like,
at the
man,
end of the season, she's just like, so this is what y'all do. Y'all finish up a case and on to the next and leave everything. And like,
I
yeah,
know.
pretty much. And it's just
bro,
like,
and
wow,
I just love
yeah.
how she's like, man, end credits are supposed to be rolling, and like, do we all get a trophy and go home? They're like, nah, this is
No.
homicide police, homie.
Like it's figured out. It's out of our hands now. Bye.
Yeah, and
Like bye. Left in the
now,
dust.
there's a lot of good parts in that season, and I love the whole like Pollock thing, and I love the character of Nikki. Just
you
because
can't
I
say
feel
that
like,
because you're not Polish.
oh, you're right. My apologies. My apologies. That is, yeah, my bad.
Derogatory term.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut it. We can all use it as a learning experience. Sorry for any Polish listeners. It's my bad. I forget that's a slur.
They
But
use it so freely in that.
yeah, they do.
But then there's a scene where the black dude, where they or Frank's like, not to sound any or not to be offensive. He's just like, it's like we're just not some regular yo niggas or something like that. And he's like,
Yeah.
no offense. And then the black dude's like, oh yeah, or the p word.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, oh okay, so they use
Yeah.
that word like niggas when they're referring to each other.
Yeah. Anyway, my bad. Not Polish. Can't use it. Anyway. So
you could fool people and say you are.
yeah, no, I could lie about it. I'm not gonna lie about it. I fucked up.
'Cause you're
That's how it
white.
goes sometimes. Yeah.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're moving on from that. That I just got canceled. So my favorite part is the kid in that, because I'm like, man, like he's almost there. Like he's so close to being almost like away and free and gone and like being able to get out of the whole thing. The white guy, Nicky. But my second favorite part of that is McNulty spending like 12 hours making sure that the body was on the right side of the bridge for whose jurisdiction. It's like, you son of a fucking bitch. You're just going to bring in a dead body floater.
Just to
Right
fuck them. Just to fuck them.
Oh man. All right, that's enough wire talk, but man, that I love that so much. He's just doing paperwork and ocean charts to make sure that somebody gets fucked with having this body on their record.
So I don't know if you saw that shit about Addison Rae being like an interviewer or like reporter for UFC.
No, I didn't. Is that a
Yeah.
thing that's
So
gonna happen?
oh man, yeah, it's like a big thing where somehow the UFC came in or contacted her and have her come in to report whatever happened at the event, the Conor McGregor and Poirier fight or whatever. And so like she was doing the red carpet or whatever it is, the whole behind the scenes interviews and shit. And she posted a picture and she's like something. And now I'm doing the UFC, or like 2 years of or 2 months of college. And now I'm doing this or like, yeah. And so the internet hated it because they're like, what the fuck? Like there's people out here. Like I get that you can be famous and it gets you jobs, but what's going on? Like why her? And it's literally because you just said it. It's because she's fucking famous.
Yeah.
Like that's that. And then there was one girl on Twitter. I think I took a screenshot where it was weird. Okay, this is her tweet. She's like, I got a 33 on my ACT and was national merits finalist, spent thousands of dollars and hours on hard work to receive a bachelor's degree from the best journalism school in the country, was commencement speaker and applied to 75 plus jobs to be unemployed. And that was her quote above the Addison Rae photos of her being a reporter. to me, that shit, you were worried about your money and getting your money up. You should have got your followers up. You fucked up. You're gonna complain talking about I got a 33 on my ACT. Fuck you. Like that shit sounds so privileged to me where you're just like, I deserved it. I deserve it more than her. Well, apparently not, because you're nobody. And I'm not trying to side with like, oh yeah, you got to get your followers up, because sure, I was in a position of that, and there's people that do deserve shit more than people with just followers. But you know what? At the end of the day, these companies don't care about, most of these companies don't care about your merit scholarships and your 33 ACT score.
Yeah. No.
Can you bring in traffic? Can you bring in viewers to watch our shit? Because the UFC wants viewership. That's how they make their money. So complaining and like, I did journalism and all, no one gives a fuck. Get your followers up.
Yeah.
Instead of bitching about what you did, get your followers up.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, you know, for better or for worse, it's like, you could take, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, they're like, the UFC's out here to like drive traffic. Like, there's no, you know, I mean, I'm trying to think like who would be a good example. You could talk about like, I don't know, some of the journalists like from the New York Times that like have been doing it for a long time. It's one of those it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we could 1000% look at what you've done up until this point, and hopefully you cultivate enough of a following where like your work is so good or your journalism skills are so good that you're like breaking stories and you're you know, getting yourself to a point where you're driving your own, you know, subscribers, or like they subscribe to our paper for you. It's like that's one way to do it for sure. But like the other thing about this is like the UFC is a like, and I think like this is really kind of what people forget about, like especially professional sports, is that like the PGA Tour or like the UFC, like these are things and events that like they show up going from city to city to draw a crowd in each city. You know what I mean? Like it's not as if like
company. Yeah. It's a viewership based type company.
But like Las Vegas, like the numbers that they do in Vegas aren't going to reflect like what they're about to do in Chicago. Like it's all one like self-contained money thing. So it's like if like they could, you know, if they pulled up to Los Angeles and Addison was a, you know, a $2,000 expenditure to get her like from the house to Vegas, or get from the house to, you know, the Staples Center, like wherever they happen to be doing it. It's like, okay, I've spent $2,000 and I'm going to rack this back up because she's going to talk about it because it's incredibly exciting for her. I mean, great opportunity for her too, to just see like if that would be something.
That's not going to get her. I just want to say that.
No. I'm not saying the payment. I'm not saying the payment to her. You know, like we're talking.
She wants to
about,
be comped. She's gonna want to be comped.
No, of course, no. There's gonna be a million things that they can do that they can just like write off. But my point is like they don't like have to move her from like, they don't have to worry about getting her across the country. They can just like send a limo, you know, whatever, write the check, do whatever they got to do. But at the same time, it's like it's not, you know, crazy expensive to like go and do that. Or, you know, they throw $100,000 at her and then, you know, they're going to get that back. She's going to have fun doing the opportunity and they're going to talk about it to, you know, 78 million TikTok followers that may or may not be into the UFC. Could be their first opportunity ever, kind of start on the young generation. Like there's a million reasons that like she's qualified to do that because her reach is so big. But it's like, to anybody that like looks at that and is like, well, there are more deserving people. It's like, well, yeah, but like you're starting to get into a conversation of like more deserving, like, okay, well then who's the most deserving? Spend the next 20 years looking for the most deserving person and don't ever do anything ever. It's like it's such a
it's
weird...
subjective though. Like that's the thing. Like you can believe it's biased and subjective because you can believe that you deserve something such as like, oh, I can interview anybody and I went to journalism school, versus someone who's just like, hey, I've got 2.5 million followers. I have an audience. People look at me. regularly, who do you want? It just depends on where you're going in the avenue. Like, sure, you can be unemployed. Sorry to this lady, like, you're unemployed. It's it's a very competitive journalism world, I assume, and it'd be like that. But you know what? Instead of sitting there bitching about how you didn't get it and this girl did, get your shit up. If you see how something works, don't get mad. Work on you, like work on your shit.
Well, and like, you know, and I don't know anything about the girl you're talking about, but like, what,
I don't
you know,
either.
what's her,
I know,
you know,
I know,
but
jack
it's like,
shit. I just screenshot and I was like, you sound like a very privileged individual.
but it's like, what's her portfolio look like? I mean, take a guy like, take a guy like Andrew Callaghan right now, who is famous for formerly doing All Gas No Brakes. Like, I don't know if you've watched any of his stuff. He's the dude in the strange suit that went to like spring break in Florida and was just standing out there with like all the Trump people while they were yelling into their mics and stuff like that. So that's what he does. But like he went to J school like anybody else, and he was like, yeah, I've just driven around the country and made a bunch of like weird documentaries and like kind of like pitched out like, I don't want to do like the quote unquote like politics side of it. Like I want to like look at the humans that are into the politics and like taking like an angle where like he like obviously his edits are meant to be funny, but like at the same time it's not as if like he's sitting there talking over people. Like he's letting people talk and then like making it sound the way that they want it to sound, and it just comes off as absurd and funny. But like those are real people, and like that's his whole thing. Like he didn't have to go pitch. I mean, he eventually like sold All Gas No, or like got out of the All Gas No Brakes thing and is doing his own thing now. But like that all started because he was doing shit and like he had a portfolio to pitch to somebody. So it's like, I don't know, man, just go do work. I mean, if that's really like how you're feeling, or like you're really that into something, it's like, then like go write the most fascinating piece like about your hometown, or go find, you know, the one angle into something. I mean, I've talked about Johnny Harris before, but like dude made an entire career, like an Emmy nominated career, out of drawing maps, like drawing on maps and talking about why borders were important. It's like there's a million ways to look at shit. If you make it interesting, like you'll be hireable. But like you sound like somebody who would be really good at being a critic at something and not great at doing the something.
Yeah. But that's the thing where how people got the game fucked up nowadays, where it's just like either on both sides, like as an influencer or as someone who just chose like a regular lifestyle of just going to school and achieving all sorts of stuff. Like people use whatever they've gained, like this girl with her ACT score, which doesn't fucking matter after like you just use that to get into college. It literally, that's it. But it's just like you use that as like a badge of honor where it doesn't weigh anything. All this shit that you're saying doesn't exactly weigh anything. And then you have the influencers, where I can't tell you how many times in LA where I've seen people just get denied walking through a door and they're like, I've got this many followers. So the fuck what? If no one wants you in there, they don't want you in there. If you can't get to this place, if no one knows who you are, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. Like it's just people just always like weighing in on like their biggest achievements, or like holding in and thinking that that's going to get them the free pass of life. And it's just like both sides are fucking terrible. It's just like these people are just not grounded enough to understand that, hey, okay, you have all these degrees and stuff like that. What makes you different? Even when you go to like a job interview, they're asking you what separates you from other people or other folks that are trying to get this position. Yeah. And if you don't have it, it's going to display like, oh, well, I did this, I did that. Yeah. But what are you doing to create something different? Yeah. We can have a bunch of people from Harvard and all this shit like coming in. What did you do to be different? And same with people who are on social media. Like, man, like I've got these followers and whatever. I prank people, but everybody pranks people. That's not something that's been happening since 2008. What makes your content different to think that you deserve to be at the award shows or something like that? Like, what makes you different?
I got a couple things I want to say about this. Number one, getting back to like the, you know, resting on like the ACT stuff. It's like all that stuff is like you're setting yourself for like an easier next step. So like a 33 on an ACT is great. It sets you up for a scholarship in college or like an easier transition into the next thing, but it's not the ultimate thing. Like it makes the next part just a little easier. So that's nice. Like I get why people are excited about that, but like it's over. Like it did what it was supposed to do. You went to college and now you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's over now. The next thing that I was going to say is that it's like, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like you have to figure out like ways to kind of like differentiate yourself, or like you look at, you know, the people who are like that one kid that was looking for like a job in marketing and like couldn't figure out how to get a way in, and he bought a billboard in Los Angeles and posted his resume and contact details and was just like, yo, you want to learn how to draw attention, like you need to talk to me. And like a bunch of people saw it and they were like, yo, who's this crazy kid with the billboard?
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. Got hired same day. Like, so
it's that simple.
So
You're
there's
doing something different.
There are those two things. And then the third thing I want to talk about is, did you see Danny Gonzalez's newest video?
No. What did he do?
Fucking grade A. So Danny Gonzalez, who is not necessarily shy about long videos, but absolutely went out of his mind with this 45-minute banger on YouTube, and said, and the title was something along the lines of like, how do I buy someone a Tesla without ruining their life? And then he goes through and talks about how like so many times, like when these Tesla situations come up, like the Tesla gets used as taxable income, and now people have a huge tax bill that they have to worry about, or they can't afford the insurance on a car that expensive. And so he's like going through like all of the things like he's gonna have to figure out if he wants to give someone a Tesla and not fuck their life up. And it just explains, like, he's like, listen, like I've always kind of like viewed it through the lens of like, man, like these other influencers, like it's so cool that like they give away Teslas, but like after kind of doing all this research, like it kind of looks like you can only win a prize if you were already rich to begin with. And I was like, oh man, that's so funny. Because anybody that followed David Dobrik back in the day, when Scott bought himself a Tesla, he was like, yo, I can't do this because I got a DUI when I was younger and my insurance is too high. And so like I can't maintain this car. My dog is being loud as hell.
I was wondering, I was like, you got a baby?
So anyway, like so he goes through all of these things and is just talking about like, how do I do this? And he's like, so I talked to my accountant, I talked to my lawyer, and I talked to like 2 other people. And he's like, so it turns out the best way to give someone a Tesla is to not. So I figured out how much a Tesla would cost. And then I was like, okay, well, I can give them that much in cash, but then they still have to pay for like years of insurance. And so then I upped that. And then I realized that that's going to be taxable income. So I wanted to pay for those taxes. And he's like, and I got to a certain point and I was like, I'm going to have to keep adding money until I'm out of money. So I'm just going to go to a nice round figure and find somebody to give $70,000 to. I was like, dude, I love this kid so much.
Yeah, Danny's always been a good kid. Like I remember back when he was out in LA. It's not he doesn't live there anymore, right? He lives somewhere.
I think him and Drew live in Orlando. But
okay,
but Danny might be back out in LA.
Oh, well, I don't know. I knew Drew was from Orlando.
Hold on 1 second. Carry the podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna try. But I was talking to you directly. But anyways, hey guys, how's it going? This is a short commercial break brought to you by Safe Space for Depravity podcast. It's the current podcast.
I can hear you. Keep going.
It's the current podcast you're listening to. And we come on here weekly just to give y'all a good listen of whatever's on our minds and whatever's happening in the world. If you enjoy this podcast, you might as well subscribe to this channel on YouTube. You might as well add us on all social medias to get updates on whether or not we're gonna have a Patreon at some point, because we're bringing in the views. we're currently bringing in the views. I don't know if y'all saw the last video, but we brought in some pretty big views for for what we usually bring in. So yeah, we're gonna be in the talks or background of starting up a Patreon, and y'all can get.
So you told them about the
content.
MeUndies sponsorship, right?
I just gave us our own sponsorship ad,
I know,
like
I
an
heard
ad
it.
for this.
We sponsored our own ad time. I heard that.
But yeah, I forgot what we were talking about.
I was talking about
Yeah,
Danny
so-
Gonzalez and the Tesla.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, Danny's always been like a very grounded kid. Because I remember we used to shoot videos back in the day, like at our YouTube space, not YouTube space, but like our YouTube company that would give us money.
Mhm.
I hate how I worded that, but that's not. It's essentially how it
your
was.
affiliate. Your affiliate.
Yes. They helped us get our money and revenue through
Your
YouTube.
MCN.
Is that what that is? Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Danny was always a cool kid, but very, very just like his videos when his vines, like they were clever. Like, what are those? Like that shit floored me because I'm just
The
like,
Liam Neeson one is also a favorite of mine.
Which one was that?
Liam Neeson's knees, son. Liam Neeson's Nissan is Nissan and Nissan. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've always loved Danny's content. Like he's just always just been this. I remember when he just started popping off, and I was like, he passed me in followers. So I was like, who the fuck is this? But I was just like, oh, yeah,
Earned.
I get
Earned.
I
Completely
I
earned.
completely get this because this kid's funny. Because I think Darius is the one who told me about Danny. He's like, yo, you gotta see this nigga. Shit.
He got to go to Camp Vine.
He did. Danny, all the people that went to Camp Vine are doing great right now. Everybody that got to go to Camp Vine is doing great. And it's unfortunate that some of us that were there for a long time didn't get to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think if you have to put it in terms of like who's made the most money off of or from Camp Vine, it's got to be Cody, right? Has to be.
Oh, between Cody and Liza. Bro, you got to think about Liza too. Yeah, Liza came in with a heavy hitter. Look, the thing about Camp Vine, it was a ruse to bring in new content creators that Vine themselves could build up, which before Camp Vine, before we went to playlist or not playlist, VidCon, which is what the whole Camp Vine would lead up was, Vine reached out to the main main creators, and they asked, hey, what can we do for y'all to stay with the company, or not company, but like stay with us, stay on the app? And they're like 1.2 million each.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna throw some dirt on people's names, but like it was like Jerry Perp Drank, Lele Pons, all that, like all them, Batch, everybody that you thought was a big popular Viner was there. There were the top 13 people, and Hannah Stocking, don't know why the fuck she was there, but whatever. But yeah, they are like $1.2 million, and Vine was like, no. They're like $1.2 million for 1 year. We'll post 3 videos per month on the app for 1.2 million each. And shout out to, I'm not gonna say her name, but the lady that was running Vine at the time. She's just like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. And so they're like, all right, we're gonna go elsewhere, because they were making money elsewhere. They're on Facebook and YouTube and whatever, batches in movies already. And so they went elsewhere, and then they had another batch of not batch, but like other group of Viners that they tried to auction off again, like, hey, we'll give y'all the go ahead. And it was Scotty Sire, it was Darius, and a few others, and they like took them to like Japan and London and the Vine facilities over there, because they had Vine companies internationally, and so they took them there on trips and stuff like that. And it's crazy because like Darius is my roommate, so I'm seeing him go go off to London on Vine's tip, and I'm just like, it's cool. It's cool. But that didn't work out. So then they looked at up and coming creators that had like 400,000 and 500,000. And then Liza, she was already at 1.2, but she wasn't doing anything at that point. She kind of just stopped vining. And they took those people in. And so that's where you get your Cody Co. That's where you get your Danny. That's where you get your Meech, Kenny, Low or Dope Island, and all those people. They brought them in, blew them up with the Popular Now page, specifically got them like their spotlights per week to get their followers up and their viewerships up, got them all to 1 million, and then they rolled out with Vine, Camp, whatever it was, Camp Vine. That's some behind the news type shit or behind the scenes type shit that I know because I lived it.
Yeah, you want to do you want to do the next Twitter red carpet?
Actually, Twitter.
You're a journalist now.
Twitter fucked with me more than Vine did. Like, I remember when Twitter reached out to me and they're just like, "Hey, we're throwing a party in downtown LA. Come through. We know you're a creator and you do great stuff on our app." And I was like, "All right, cool." And when I showed up, I was like, "Man, they said I had a +1." But then when I told the guy at the door my name, he was just like, I was like, "I got 5 people with me." He's like, "Oh, Wellington Voice?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're good." I was like, "Yes, yes." Give me that. that was like the end all be all of like, oh, I got pulled. That's it. And nothing else ever happened after that. My career just
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I went right.
Yeah, you took that wherever you needed to. That'll be $120. You can go ahead and send that to each and every listener. So here's the real question. How much worse is Black Widow if they cast Addison Rae as Florence Pugh? Scale 1 to 10.
12.
It's that much worse.
12. Yes, bro. She can't act. She can't act. What have you seen Addison Rae act in? Other than fuck out of here, bro. She sucks. I wasn't trying to defend her earlier, but like she sucks. She fucking sucks.
I'm just trying to think of like how I can clickbait this title again. Addison Rae is Black Widow ?
Oh no, we got to get a deeper one with that. Addison Rae says hi to Trump, which she did. Which she did. But like I forgot who did it. Someone posted a video of her like going up to Trump at the UFC event and saying, "Hi, I'm Addison. It's such a pleasure to meet you." And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You kissing ass. Like, this is not going to get you anywhere. I get about like networking, and sometimes it's just a habit with these people, influencers specifically, but there's no reason to network with Donald Trump.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, I like, even politics aside, like, he's got nothing for you.
He's got nothing for you. Why? And so the
biggest flex you get out of that is I met an ex-president or like a former president. Like, that's the best, but then you can't really specify who, because then it's not as much of a flex anymore.
Yeah, but the thing is, someone captioned the video with like her introducing herself. It's like, "Oh, Addison Rae is trying to smash Trump." And that's all. Like, that is literally the only thing I could imagine what the goal was.
Did you see Trump's son the other day, by the way, when he was coming out the hotel with his mom?
Barron?
Yeah.
The one that's like not right?
He's fine, but he's 6'7", bro.
Like I said, he's not right.
Bro.
That kid's not okay. There's everything wrong with that kid.
6'7". The man,
he's like 14.
I know, that's what I'm screaming. But the problem is, I mean, like, I'm sure he doesn't have a jump shot, but like, he is in rare air as far as like potential NBA player goes.
His bones
I'm sure. But my point is, like, you get to six. It's such a dumb joke, but you get to 6'7", a lot of doors open for you. All right, and yes, I realize that you have to duck under them. But my point is that like you can be like if you get to like 6'10", Like, you can be a pretty mediocre basketball player and still get a contract somewhere.
Dog, I would never want to be that tall.
Not that he needs money, but
6'5" is like, okay, you're a big bitch. Dope. After that, if you are not actively an athlete in something and you are above 6'5", you don't deserve to just exist like this.
You watched Last Chance U, the basketball one, right?
No, I didn't get all the way through it.
Oh my God. All right. So they have a scene in it and I was just dying laughing because, like, not that I was ever at that level of basketball player, but like you see some of these kids who are like 6'8", 6'10", like whatever the fuck. And you always think about like, man, like he's got a crazy chance to like go do something with it. Like, man, it'd be crazy to be that tall. And they're following this JUCO team around and they have like a 6'10" or like a 7-footer. And the coach, this fucking coach, just looks at him and goes, all right, man, that's the effort you want to put in? Gonna be a big ass bag boy somewhere, I'll tell you that much. And I was like,
yeah,
you're not gonna graduate, you're not gonna play ball, you're just gonna be a big ass bag boy somewhere. I was like, fuck, that is intense and sad to think about.
Yeah, because okay, think about it. We knew a kid who was 7 foot in the 7th grade. You went to school with him. I don't want to say his name. I mean, he has a regular white boy name, so I don't think.
Where was I?
At his school. I'm pretty sure he went to your school.
Oh,
Thomas.
but I didn't go to school with him. Nah, I didn't know him. I don't know.
Oh,
him, but
well, I'm just saying, like, he was 7 feet. Didn't play basketball. Didn't do anything. Played guitar. And that was it.
You got to go work on a farm, I think.
Yeah, at that point, like,
you
bro,
just gotta go do farm stuff.
You just have to vacate yourself from regular existing life, like, because you're not useless, but you're not useful because you're
the point. Your body is no longer an asset. Is the problem? Yeah, like it gets in the way more unless you're like throwing shit around.
Unless you're throwing shit around, like become a strong man, or you were in the NFL or something. Like, you have to be active to be that fucking big and existing in this world. If not, let's just put you on an island like they did in Greek times, where they put the giants on an island.
Nope. Stop. We've been down this road before. I don't like where this is headed. Last time you went down on a rant like this, I had to cut some shit out. We're not putting them anywhere. They're existing in society.
If you're a big fucker, you might as well just be put on an island and just be amongst the other Amazon and giant folk.
First of all, Amazon's not an island. Secondly, I feel like you're talking about like a Space Jam Moron Mountain situation.
Yes, but with giants in an island, just like where the Cyclops live. But these people have 2 eyes and they're just really tall.
Okay. All right, let's calm down there. I don't know. It's definitely an interesting thing once you get to be that big, because it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing with my life? Like, but I'm trying to think like what other jobs you could have that aren't athletics, where you like being that big would like help you out with stuff.
A tree climber.
Like,
a tree climber.
Okay, you have a head start, if anything, but like
exactly,
there's no way.
Exactly. Most people are trying to pike themselves in and just wrap themselves up the tree. You cover half, like, or a quarter of the bottom. You can clear that. I think
it's got to be. I think it's got to be last mile farm work, and what I mean by that is like everybody goes and gets the shit, but there's going to be that person who has to move the shit like 20 feet, but they have to move a lot of shit, like 20 feet. You got to be like that guy. You got to be like the guy that's like, hey, we went out and got all the shit. We need you to put it in the thing where we store the shit. And he's like, I got the perfect guy. He's 7 foot, 350 pounds, and he can grab a whole bunch of that shit and move it all at once, and we're going to get things done quicker. Oh, well, can he come out to the fields? No. You move him around too much, he's going to get shaky, and then we're going to have a broken down old steed, and you know how that goes. We don't like doing that to our own horses. This guy's an actual man horse. He's a centaur, if you will.
He's a centaur with just 2 legs.
Yeah. So you
Oh,
gotta
so a
like
human
learn to
being.
be yeah. You gotta learn to be like a human forklift, I guess is my point. If you grow to such a length. I remember getting checked out, or I remember being at the register getting checked out by a woman at Target who was 6'8", and I was like, okay. I don't think there's a
work in
whole
the
lot
stock
for us
room.
to talk.
No. You know what would be a good job? Those people, like someone who's at like a Tractor Supply and like, oh, I can't reach the thing that's on the top shelf. That's their job. Pay them.
Hey, yo, Ricky.
Just like, yeah. Their shit just like, yeah.
He's already carrying like another forklift. You know what I mean? He's just like, yo, what's up? He's like, hey, put that forklift down and come get the stuff off the high shelf.
Can you come get that shop vac that's up on aisle 3? It's all the way at the top. Okay. Here you go.
Did you just palm a
thanks, mister.
lawnmower?
You just.
He
Thanks,
just-
mister.
he-
You're really strong.
Grabs a lawnmower off the top shelf. Ball fake. And then just like puts it down. You're like, all right, Jordan. Yo, Welly just. She almost throw
I
a
just
mower
imagine-
at me?
If you are above the height of 6'5", you should just sound like Andre the Giant. Like everyone's voice is just Andre the Giant at that point.
Gonna let that one marinate.
You want me to do Andre the Giant impression?
No, it's just like, what are you talking about?
If you're that tall, if you're above the height of 6'5", you're a giant. So you sound like one of the most famous French giants that were out there, Andre.
Nah, 6'6" is exactly where you start. Like everything before 6'6", like you said, you recognize them as a tall person, but that's as far as it goes. Once you get to 6'6", that's when everybody's like, "Oh my God, how tall are you?" And it's like, oh, "Fuck, I gotta have this conversation a million times a day." Like,
Sago 6'6".
yeah, exactly. I mean, like, listen, I ran into an NBA player at Lenox Mall a couple years ago, and
I was there.
yeah, you were there, and I was just like, he was like 6'1".
Yeah,
I
he
was
was
like-
really short. When you
and I was
said
like-
like, you're like, oh, that's Derek Schroeder. I was like, huh? And he's like, he plays for the Hawks, and I was like,
Yeah,
that guy, that guy.
yeah.
He played.
And I was just like, oh, okay.
Okay, neat.
Yeah.
We also
The more
saw
impressive thing is that he's German and black. If we're really being honest,
That is true.
you know what
I
I'm
didn't
saying?
know
Like
that.
that's way.
I didn't know
more.
he was
That's,
German until like about a few months ago, and I heard him
Yeah.
speaking, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
yeah. He's got an umlaut over his O, which is wild.
Yeah, but we also saw Emmanuel Hudson that day too.
Yeah, we
He was
did,
at- yeah, he was at Lennox that day. It was crazy.
bro. All the people just showed up to be looked at.
And
What
now
time are we at,
Lennox,
by the way?
we're probably at an hour, 58. But
Yeah, this one was also kind of all over the place, but it kind of breezed through.
it was all over the place. But I think we got some like important, quote unquote, conversations in. Like it was nothing, no jokes, no heavy jokes out here.
Yeah,
So if y'all like this episode,
yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. The clickbait from last episode has really got me in my feels about like, good God, the amount that last video popped off.
welcome, because it's important. Titles are also very, very important.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna go do some regular people stuff and make sure this edit comes out.
All right, where can they find you, Quinn?
You can find me on Quinn Tweets on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, and you can find me at Wellington Voice on all social media. You just type it in Google and it all pops up. And that's a serious flex on my part.
Flex.
All right, we'll see y'all next week with a possibly goofy episode. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. We're feeling a little interested in switching some stuff up, so we'll see.
Yes, we are. But all right, we'll see y'all. Bye.
Bye.